Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Commons. My name is Pascal Atuma, and to my left,
LD Demola.
Austin Sharp Ndugwe.
Valentine VDD.
welcome guys. You guys are looking sharp. When I grow up, I'll be like you guys, man.
Are we looking
like
sharp?
Like sharp.
You are the sharpest man now.
No, I'm trying
For sure, look at you.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, our topic for today is some people might like it, some may not like it. Some may look at it as a morning breakfast. Some may look at it as finally the light has come. Our topic for today is it time to give power to the women? Is it time in Africa for the men to step aside and let the women take the seat? Is it time around the globe for us to give women a chance to get into those positions that men think that they should occupy? Because so far, from what we are seeing in the world right now, the men they're not doing it. The world is in chaos. Almost everywhere, every part of the world, there is problem. Is it time for men to take our egoistic tendencies, our chauvinist attitudes, our I am the man, our ego, everything, and sit down a little bit and give a chance to the women? I'm gonna start with LD. LD, do you think it's time for the women to take over leadership?
For starters, I think it's inevitable. That's for one. The future, the aesthetics of the future and the structure of where the future is going is women. That's just the way it's headed. Now, I will say it is important for men to know their role in society in general. And society doesn't work without both sides, right? We need equal, both parties need to contribute to society. But I think biologically, both parties have different tendencies. You know, from what I believe, biologically, a man wants to kind of control his space, control his kingdom, just control his environment and understand how to grow his kingdom, right? I think women are more nurturing. They care more. They are more considerate. It doesn't mean they're perfect, trust me, but they're more nurturing naturally, right? And I think through feminism and the way women have lived for so many years, they've been under the rule of men and just been quiet. Like, I just realized, like, just 2 years ago or so, in some Arab nations, women are driving for the first time in their history. Like, for the first time in their history, like 2 years ago, 2018, in some Arab countries, women are driving for the first time in their life. That's crazy to think about, the fact that they've gone their whole life under man's command. And the reason why it's important to point that out is because as a man, and an African man, you are taught to think of yourself as the ruler of your universe. You yourself as a man, you are the king of your own universe, your being. And it is your responsibility to carry yourself like you're supposed to be proud. And ego is not necessarily bad as long as the purpose is correct. As long as you understand that you're
as long as his ego with brain.
Exactly. As long as you understand why you're doing it and you're doing it as a servant for the people. But it's important to have that ego, that pride. But then absolute power corrupts absolutely, especially when it's unchallenged. There's never been a challenge to the patriarchy, as they say, whatever the case may be. So I think inevitably the world is going towards women. I will say this though, because I'm still an African man at the end of the day. As I said before, I believe men are going to have their role. And I think it's important for men to understand now where the world is going, to position themselves correctly to have a role in the future. Because a lot of the things that we're facing these days are caused by men's power. But again, I have friends and family friends, females who are in politics, who are not the cleanest people either, Okay. But it's a balance, but I think inevitably we're going towards women, no doubt. But men definitely need to find their position in the future. And I'll go into it a lot more when we start talking.
Okay, LD, that's your first 2 minutes. All right, Shashap, let's go with you for 2 minutes. Your opening statement.
Yeah, I think it's a good topic to delve into. I would say it's about time we letting women take steering wheel this time, because from time, history have told us that women actually are the best in management, in everything you can think of in life. But for some reason, the men have refused that. You know, a little example is, if you take a girl of 18 years, she's not been around where they had a new child before, or she's not really been to see where a mother is nursing a new baby, and she get pregnant, and she finds herself somewhere that she had no real help, her mom or her big sisters or people with experience to come show her how to nurture her new baby. It's always surprising and amazing on how women are able to get themselves together and begin to care for that little baby from birth, till we'll get to a time where the child will become whoever he or she has wanted to be. So I think they have special skills embedded in them that we, the men, especially from the part of the world we come from, we have not really taken our time to notice that or give them that chance. Use that same token that they've used. They always exhibit when they have new kids, new babies. So try other things around us. I can tell you, we've had great women in the past before. Even in Africa, we used to have Queen Amina, that used to be a great warrior back in the days. You know, I'm yet to figure out what country that Queen Amina, I think she's Nigerian as well, back in the days. Or we're talking about in the 80s, where we had Margaret Thatcher of England, Great Britain, where she took United Kingdom to another level. Or just of recent, Lady Sirleaf of Liberia. Yeah, I think she ruled Liberia for some years, and I think she's out now. And we got women beginning to take their positions everywhere. We have currently a great Nigerian woman, who is currently vying for WTO, World Trade Organization.
Yes.
And
yes.
the whole world is supporting her.
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Iweala.
She got it.
She got it, but unfortunately, I think it's kind of being delayed right now. The U.S. is using its veto power to go against her. I think U.S. interest is in the other lady coming from South Korea and stuff. So the point of the matter is, look, we have great women everywhere, but I think it's about time men give them a chance, because the women actually have the patience. They can listen. They know how to coordinate in everything. They are the strongest link. I keep saying this. Asking over to you.
Okay, Shasha, let's take Val. Val, let's go for your 2 minutes opening, and then we can go around again and then get deeper.
Okay. To answer that question, I think I'm looking at it in two ways, historically and qualification. So historically, we know that we've been ruled or conditioned to believe that men rule the world. We live in a patriarchal society. Men have this, this mindset, this hegemonic masculinity, where they want to be in charge of everything. They want to rule the world and take control of everything, and putting women under them as their subordinates. And then if you look at how society from history tends to affect what we're seeing today, where these gender roles are being created or depicted, how the society kind of like generates what gender role is also contributing to what we're experiencing today, where women are meant to be in a certain place and men are meant to be in a certain place. Now, let's talk about qualifications. In positions of leadership and power, or any profession in life, you should attain or get to that position based on your qualifications and your ability to do that job, not based on your gender. You understand? So if you are qualified, or a woman, you're qualified, you have the experience to be a leader in a nation, you should be given that opportunity. But unfortunately, what we see within, again, the system, historically and social constructs, we tend to limit women all around the world. It's not just Africa. Mm-hmm. We see in the United States what happened when Hillary Clinton was trying to run against Trump. You know, even though some people have their resentment against Hillary, but you can see that hegemonic behavior, behavior by Trump to try to suppress Hillary Clinton, digging up every dirt, every nook and everywhere he can find dirt to bring Hillary Clinton down. And you can see that across the globe, especially in Africa. When we're growing up, boys have a certain roles, girls have a certain roles. In school, girls are taught in the school books, in the curriculum. Women are in the kitchen, the young girls is helping the mom to cook and all of that stuff. There's no leadership role, even in the curriculum, where you see women as doctors or women as presidents and women as leadership in high places. But you always see men in those kind of positions. So you see this trends happening from childhood. So we need to start thinking a way to deconstructing and reshaping gender roles in society. And also, to answer your question directly, yes, if there's a woman who is qualified to lead, we should be giving that woman a chance.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Val. That was very beautiful. I'm going to say it this way, and I'm going to use my country, Nigeria, to start my own speech. I strongly, 100% believe that if Buhari's wife was made the president of Nigeria, she would have done better than Buhari.
That's a strong one.
And that is a fact. There's no way Buhari's wife wouldn't have done better than Buhari as the president of Nigeria currently. That's number one. Number two, let's look at the countries where women are in charge. A country like Denmark, a country like Norway, a country like Finland. Then let's go to Rwanda. If you go to Rwanda, you will see that Rwanda has the highest number of women in parliament, both on the upper house and lower house in the whole world. How is Rwanda today? That's another one we look at. Then let's look at the NSAS that just happened in Nigeria. Who raised the money that were used for this NSAS event? Who raised the money? It was a feminist coalition group, right? Coalition group that raised the money, and they were the ones supplying the money that was used, and they didn't even use up to 30% of the money they raised. They raised 100 and something million within how many weeks? Within 2 weeks. How many did the boys raise? The boys were busy posting pictures on Instagram, and busy posting pictures on Facebook, and busy doing darling. Whereas these women were working. Let's look at that. Then let's now go deeper. In every organization that I've been able to do business with, I've come in contact with, anyone that a woman is running, don't play with that organization. A typical example is Film One Cinemas in Nigeria. Film One Cinemas in Nigeria, outside the CEOs, the rest of the positions are all occupied by women. I had a film that was supposed to come out May 8th. Then they called me into a meeting, a distribution meeting, to discuss about the P&A and all that kind of stuff. And I come in with my marketing manager. Guess what? It's me, my marketing manager, who is a woman, versus another 6 girls. These 6 girls were aged between 25 and 35. Sitting in front of me, bros, I've been in business for almost 20 years. When they ask you a question, you better know your onions before you open your mouth.
Fact.
That meeting lasted for 2 hours. When I left that meeting, I had an interview with Channels Television the next day. And immediately I went to Channels Television. The first thing I told them was my experience at Film One Nigeria. These girls, when you see them, you will know that you're looking at quality. Then that was the day I made up my mind. I said, you know what? I think, because any one of those 6 girls that attended that meeting that day can run the state of Lagos.
Okay.
Any one of them, comfortably. That's how smart they were.
This is
right?
probably one of our most important topics, by the way.
Yeah. Now, when I looked at those girls, now I sat back in my hotel room in Lagos and I said, I think it's time for me to go to House of Commons and let's talk about this thing. Because if you look at the men running Nigeria with their fat stomachs, looking like they're 9 months pregnant, most of them, all they care about is chieftaincy title, how many girls they can get. Now, let's talk about the biological point of it. Men think with their men. Oh, sorry, I don't know if there's any young kid that's gonna watch this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Colombo?
Men think with their penis. Women don't. So if you get a woman in position, I can assure you that it will take a miracle for a woman to think from that side. Whereas almost 90% of men, if a woman comes into their office, the first thing they see is, am I lying?
Colombo.
I will stop right there. I'll stop right there and let you guys go, because if I keep going, I will take more than 2.
I'm very glad we're having this conversation, because this is probably one of the most important conversations we've had on this show, period. And the next time that we do it, we're gonna have a part 2 with women, right? But I wanna bring up something first. So I look at the animal kingdom and I look at lions and lionesses a lot, right? Or at least when I want to reference biological behavior, I kind of use the lion and the lioness for some reason, I don't know why. But in the animal kingdom, the lion sits all day long. Literally, he doesn't move. He sits all day. The person who does the hunting, the management, the everything is the lioness, right? And when you look at every other animal in the animal kingdom, the male species is usually more relaxed, right? He's not as assertive. He's calculated, he's logical, he understands what's going on, and he knows when it's time to do something, right? But he's not as active. Even here in this group, right? I'm not gonna make any general assumptions. Well, I'm gonna make an assumption. I'm pretty sure every guy in this group, before he takes action, he sits back and he thinks for some time, right? Like, before I'm gonna use my energy to do this thing, let me calculate how long it's gonna take for me to get from point A to point Z. And there's a skill in that, right? My question is, first question would be, what is the value? What is the economic value of a man's real biological trait? So if we're not talking, and I'm gonna connect this to why it's important in ruling a nation, because from the world's expectation of a man, we are expected to provide, point blank, period. And maybe it's nurture or nature, I don't know, but I feel like I want to provide. I can't see myself being the dependent ever. I just don't even understand it. Maybe it's how I was raised, I don't know, but I can't see it happening. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for every guy here. But if we look at the value of our actual biological behavior, because women are more active, right? The same way that you mentioned the ladies in the company, every company that I've worked for, everything operations is smoother under a lady's ruling, period. But the man's role is usually important because there are certain things that a man is not willing to do that's also valuable, right? There's also value in a man's position, but I want to know, what is that value? What is the economic value? Because if we can determine what the economic value is, then we can understand why men seem to want to hoard power so much.
Okay. Sharp, go. Okay. Sharp, can you go?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Does that make sense?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean,
can you hear me? Is it my phone? Is it my?
You say?
No, he's asking you.
If you I'm still on. I'm over here.
Okay. Yeah, Sharp. The question that he asked, right? The economic
economic value of a man's skill set. If we're not carrying things, if we're not using our muscles, if we're using our brain, we can make it specific to Africa. What is the economic value of a man's approach to anything? Maybe that will explain why we try so hard to hoard power, because there's no real value in what we provide economically. Maybe. But I want to see what you guys' perspective is.
Okay. Shabi, go.
What do you think, Chief?
I hope if you guys can still hear me. Yeah. Well, that's a good question also. But always remember in the back of your mind, this position that the men found themselves today did not start today. Okay, it's kind of responsibility that has, been given to men from time immemorial. The world is now developed and civilized. Well, back in the days when we were all, we're like animals living in the forest and the woods, of course. It's always the survival of the fittest. So everything then applies to manpower, energy, strength, physical strength. So the men at that time were the most, strong men
They have the most economic value then.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's right. Because you have to be a strong man to go out there, fight the war, defeat your enemies, take away their richness for yourself and for your family. So from the history till the modern world that we have found ourselves today. So I think where the men are beginning to lose it is not recognizing that now it's no longer what it used to be before.
We're no longer in the dark ages where the physical strength is in men's game.
Exactly. So now we're going to need to pause a little bit and then look at our partners who happen to be the women and begin to see them as equal partners and see how we can benefit from them as well, not just maintaining the same status quo as back in the days. You go out there, you hunt, bring everything you have gathered back home, then she'll be the one to be at the kitchen and do the kitchen work. That's stage, I think, is gone now. In the modern world we're living in today, we should all see one another and as equal, especially when it comes to gender. I think with that, women has a lot to give that we have not really asked them to bring. But I know they're in the position to help us out the more. I think for now, I'll let you, Pascal.
All right, thank you very much. Val,
I'm sorry, Val, before you speak, I'm sorry. I just got to say, bro, Shop, you got to start. I don't know. Where's he been? The way
Wisdom.
Like this, Chief, he'll be like this. He'll be like this.
Aldi, Shop is not a maker your friend.
I mean, golly, he be making me cry.
Okay, let's VDD, please let's go with some questions.
I like what Pascal said. Historically, men have more economical value because of.
I didn't say that.
That was Sharp. Okay, bro, Sharp. Okay, yes. Because of their strength, the power, whatever. But I want to take it back a notch. Is it true that do they truly have a better economical value, or is it because they never gave women the chance back in history, which we're still seeing today? Is it because women back then were not even given the chance at all, and we just assumed that men have a more economical value based on their gender roles? Again, I don't want us to make a mistake in this show. We have to understand that gender roles is a social construct. So women and men, it is a social construct.
I think
it's a gender biological behavior. It's a learned behavior. You are taught.
Yes and no.
You can argue your point. Let me finish.
Let him finish. Finish, please.
Most of those gender roles or behaviors that you spoke about, LD, majority of those things are learned behaviors. True, there are some innate nature versus nurture things, but society shapes how we behave.
True.
Society, for the most part, shapes how we behave, how we treat a woman and how we treat a man. From family values as we're growing up and what we're seeing on TV. You understand? So now, bringing it back to modern day era, women have realized that they have power, they have substance. More women have have more graduate degrees than men right now in the world. More women are assuming powers in the world right now because they've realized that they have that value, that economical value, that social value. They can contribute more in society as opposed to before, because now men are beginning to, society is giving women that chance. We see women professors, they're doing researches, they digging deep and saying, why are women being oppressed for so long? Now they're breaking that barriers. So now we're seeing the economical value of women, and now it's threatening to men. It's threatening men ego, because now women are assuming power. This macho, masculine, patriarchy society is being threatened. And that is why we're having this discussion today. You understand? So yes, men have, each gender have economical value in society, but how do we measure the value in society? That's the question.
Okay.
Do women offer more or do men offer more? I'm going to let Pascal take over.
Oh, okay. Aldi, you wanted to counter. You wanted to
Yes.
counter? You want to counter?
First and foremost,
Yes.
we kind of clarified though, because absolutely there's a lot of socially learned norms. A lot of socially learned norms. I have male friends who can cook more than, I don't know who you want to, because they were raised to be in the kitchen with their mom. It was not a big deal, right?
Have you ate Pascal's food?
Don't let Pascal.
If Pascal cook for you, you will propose to him.
I'm eating this egusi. It's pretty damn good. Don't be careful of that. People watching this and now. They be like, oh my God. Look at him smiling too. Bad boy. But right, he's absolutely right. But I asked this question, and I'm glad I'm asking this question as a beautiful Yoruba boy that I am. Asking you Indigo brothers. You cannot lie to me on hellfire that Igbo men are not biologically, as well as socially, but biologically wired to want to, you know, have ownership of their territory. I mean, it's the same for Armenian men, Persian men. There's pride in knowing that I can see my community and I have a role in it, right? But the thing is, as he said, in a developed world, right, where you have to send in your resume to show your qualifications, or you have to sit in a classroom and get a master's degree, a lot of men are not biologically wired to fit into pre-formatted worlds. We're explorers. I'm not saying women are not, but biologically we are explorers. We are trying to construct our own vow. You're a boss of yourself. That is like you are your own.
Of course, man.
Okay.
A woman is a boss of herself too.
Okay.
Your girlfriend is a boss of herself.
Here's the question. Would you even imagine having it any other way?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Val, you want to go? It's my turn.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, I would. I mean, if someone who is more qualified than I am, more experienced than I am, can take a leadership role, I'll sit back and have them lead.
Okay, Val, I'm going to give you
this guy face.
Audi. The topic is it time for men to step back, especially in Africa, and let the women take positions of leadership, right? And then on top of that, you ask the question, the economic value of men. Now I'm going to answer it with two scenarios. Scenario number one, Rwanda. Which country in Africa is the most progressive country in Africa as we speak?
From what I'm hearing, it's Rwanda, or that's what I'm hearing.
When you're watching the EPL, which country do you see on the same saying visit where? Visit Rwanda. EPL. EPL. Right? Now, if you go to Rwanda, I did research. If you go to the lower house, 61.25% of women are in the lower house. 61.25% women. If you go to the upper house in Rwanda, 38.4%. And do you wonder why Rwanda is going that way? That's number one, to show you the economic value you were talking about. Sharp made a very strong point, which Val countered, about then physical power being the measure of importance in the society, in the survival in the jungle. But we are no longer in the jungle. This is 2020. Technology rules, brain rules. It's no longer manpower. It's intellectual ability. Now, let me tell you the one that will shock you. My daughter, Christine, my first daughter, Christine, is 7 years old. She will be 8 years January. 3 days ago, we were on Zoom. I'm trying to do something. She said, Daddy, I always share my screen. You share your screen. Then I shared my screen. She said, Daddy, it took you almost a minute to share a screen? Right? I said, baby girl, you don't know what is going on in my head. I tried to play because I was trying to figure this nonsense out, right? You know, when we finally finished, then we were reading the Bible. We are reading the whole of Psalms this month, right? So I think it was Psalm 19. Since I'm the one sharing the screen now, then we finished. I was supposed to go to Psalm 20, and I'm trying to go back on the search engine, right, to search on the Yahoo search. Said, Daddy, hold on. Daddy, just follow my hand. I said, okay. She did hand out. Daddy, follow my hand. Go down like this. I said, I go down. I said, I'm following your hand on my screen, right? Say, Daddy, go this way. Go right. Say, Daddy, look at an arrow there. Click on it. Boom. I clicked on it. Chapter 20 appeared. You know what this little girl told me? She said, Daddy, from now, anything technology, I'm in charge. How old is she?
Okay.
Yeah, so do you understand where I'm going, right?
Yes.
She said, Daddy, from now, anything technology, I'm in charge. I said, boss lady, you got it. You know why? I have figured out that she knows more than I do playing with this gadget.
Easy. That is it.
So should I, because I'm the dad, go and say, Christine, no. No, I will disgrace myself.
Okay, but hold on. Yeah. This is a very important topic. I have a question. Since we brought up countries that have women in power, right? We brought up Rwanda, an African country. So we can talk about the Nordics, the Finland.
Don't forget Denmark. Don't forget Denmark and Norway.
So Norway, Denmark, Finland. I will get to those right now. But let's start with the African nation. You mentioned Rwanda has a lot of women in power. I have a very important question, though. If I go back and check the paper trail of who's actually economically in charge of Rwanda, am I going to see it trickle up and down to Black people? Or is there still foreign real owners of Rwanda and these people are basically managing their operation? It's extremely important for us to ask that question because we can say on the management side, we are doing a great job managing these nations. But who is in charge of the country? The reason why that's important is because from my perspective, a man does not want to be ruled by another man, right? So if I'm looking at a nation ruled by men, I'm not saying they're doing the right job. They could be doing a horrible job. But I need to understand who is in charge of this country being managed. Is it all the way Black? Or if I trace the money back, is it the same story, just being presented better with better managers?
Okay, Aldi, with that question you asked now, it's gonna force us to deviate from the main topic.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is. Because you're asking now, what you're talking about is the control of the country's treasury, right? Country business. Who is in charge? Is it still being influenced by foreigners or is it by... So that's a completely different topic. But in a way to answer that question, what we are actually saying is, who is best to manage the affairs of the nation?
Women.
Is it time to let the women manage the affairs of some of the African nations? That is the topic. For now, you have brought another angle to it. Me personally, I cannot answer that question. Val or Shaf, can you go?
I think it's an important question, though.
I think
it's an important question.
Okay, Val, go ahead.
Val, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think it's an important question to ask. LD,
but I'm saying, is it gonna deviate from?
No, it's not. I'm going to try to bring the question back into context to what we're talking about right now.
Go ahead, please.
So just follow me here. If you look at the effect of what's happening in Rwanda right now, you look at the effects of colonization and colonialism and what happened back then, and how the Dutch eventually made the Tutsis and the Hutsis, the Tutsis, and there's another tribe that caused the war between both tribes, stating that one tribe is much better based on their physical structure. They have long nose, straight nose, and facial structures. That tribe, the colonial masters made that tribe in charge over the other tribes based on their physical appearance, which led to the war. So that happened in Rwanda, where black people are actually killing their fellow brothers because I don't like you because you have straight nose, because you're Tutsis, or because you're Hutu, or because you are from that tribe. So that led, that white colonial mentality was transferred into the black Rwandans, that led to that war where family members were actually killing family members. Neighbors were killing neighbors. Even kids were carrying guns to kill other people. Caused a massive genocide. But now, that genocide, I think, ended in 94. So afterwards, the Europeans eventually came in. They tried to, settle everything. Now, Rwanda as a nation is receiving a lot of support from European countries, from the Western world, in terms of rebuilding their economy, rebranding their countries. Rwanda have easy access into Canada, into America. They don't need visas to go to certain places in the world, because now Europeans have seen Rwanda as a very progressive country, so they have a vested interest in that country. So obviously you will see some progress in that country, like Rwanda is the only African nation that has a universal healthcare system. No other African nation. They have good roads.
Botswana does too.
Botswana as well, okay. But they have good roads, constructions going on, and like Pascal rightly said, they have women in leadership. And I think that's a good thing. But behind the scenes, yes, you have some sort of control from the Western powers because they have vested interest. You understand? Now, bringing that back to Nigeria.
The Western powers, they were not the ones that chose the women, though.
Well, they were voted. I don't know how the women got into power. If it's true if they're democratically voted in, or I don't know. I don't know the politics too well. But this is just from what I know about Rwanda. Now, I'm just going to bring that back into Nigeria. If we have a woman leading us in Nigeria, say someone who can be influenced by the Western powers, can be influenced by the Western society, leading us in Nigeria, I think it could be a good thing if the interest of those Western people are genuine. But we don't know that interest. We cannot, we know from history, they don't have a good interest. The Europeans will not come into your country without getting anything. You understand? So a man like LD said would kind of question that interest or that idea of Europeans coming in back to rule us or influence our country. But a woman might be, you don't know. They might just sit back and say, yes, they're helping us. We're progressing.
I disagree on that.
It could be.
If you look at,
it could be wrong. I'm just saying hypothetically. It could go either way.
Okay, there's this woman in Ghana. If you listen to Burna Boy's music, we are the monsters you created.
I saw that, like that.
Right.
We are the monsters you made. Right. There's a Ghanaian woman there who's a writer that Burna Boy used her speech. A strong Ghana woman. Since I've been watching the black speak to the Europeans, I have not seen anybody that made that kind of speech that woman made. Right? I don't know if you remember the speech. The woman that said, you people have been taking everything from us. You have taken our oil.
Oh, I saw that video.
Oh, yes, I heard that speech. Yes.
Okay.
I saw that.
So imagine a woman like that as the president of Ghana.
Okay. I have something to say though. I agree with you saying, but I need to bring this back and then we can go full circle. The reason why I wanted to make sure that I brought up an African nation with a lot of women in power and those nations that you mentioned, like Finland and Denmark and whatever the case may be, the one thing that is the difference is those nations like Finland, like Denmark, the men in their society are respected by everyone outside who ever comes to those countries, right? Their men are respected in the world. Black men are not, right? So it's important to make that distinction of why a black man's perspective of what he needs to fight for and why he feels like he needs to hoard power is different from a man's perspective in Denmark, because he's already been given his power. No one's challenging his power at all.
Do you remember the Aba Women riot? Do you know who fought? Do you know who Oga Sharp Sharp? You remember that in history? It was the women in Nigeria that riot, that revolt against the white people.
Fact.
In Nigeria.
That's not the party here too.
Aba Women riot. Yeah. What were the men doing back then?
Yeah. Okay. Let me step in.
Let's
here.
stop coming.
Yeah. Let me come in here. About the Aba riot thing back in the 30s, against 30s or 40s, led by Margaret Ekpo, a very important lady from South. Back then they said southeastern Nigeria, but I think she's from the area that is called Akwa Ibom and Cross River State. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but let us get a little let us get a little careful here. I thought we have completely moved away from the actual topic that we have here on the floor, and I don't think what the topic relates to was about race and stuff. It's just about gender, if I'm not mistaken. Gender, which women, if women can do better, or if it's time to give women the chance to rule. So for me, in that context, I'm looking at it like it really don't matter to me whether you're white, black, green, yellow, whatever. We're talking about women leadership in Africa, the opportunity for them to do that. So when we cite examples of countries or places that women have ruled before, I mean, we're using that to buttress the points and the argument we tend to make here. And I think we should just simply bring it down there, because if we continue going the way we're going now, we're going to completely expand this whole thing to a point where it may not be able to make true sense again to our focus. Remember, when you tell
okay, on that note, right? LD, I want to ask you a question. Do you remember that woman's speech?
Yes, I remember. I just watched it like a week ago.
Okay, the woman's name is Ama Ata Aido. Ama Ata, for the viewers, right? You should look at that speech on YouTube. Ama Ata Aido, that's the woman's name. The reason why I brought it up is because of what Val said, right? Going into the question that you asked. Who is in control that will come in. So when you listen to that woman speak, she was not scared of anybody. She was not scared of the colonial masters. She was not scared of the leaders of Ghana. She spoke her mind. Do you understand? And then, if you can find that speech and there's any way you can incorporate at the end of this topic, it will help. When you listen to that and then you look at the modern society that we are in now, the world is controlled by this, the data technology, and what you can do. It's not really a physical game anymore. Most women now make more money than their husbands. Right? When we were in school, the girl that was beating me, 2 girls were beating me. No boy was beating me in my class. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we were all put on the same table. Then if you go to the military now, right? You see a lot of females in the military who are top ranked. You understand? High-ranking officers. So for me personally, considering Africa, let's use Nigeria for example. Nigeria has been in the hand of men for 60 good years. 60 good years, what have we achieved?
Well,
Nothing.
But first, I can bet you, if you give Nigeria to women for the next 10 years, Nigeria will change.
But here's the thing, though. I think this is why I started my statement with it's inevitable. It's not about us giving women a chance. Women are going to rule the world. It's not about if they're going to give a chance. It's just inevitable.
But we need to start talking about it so that this government can get it.
Push it more. But just like your daughter said, I'm in control now. That's the standard now. It's not even a discussion anymore. But I think it's important.
No.
Is it though?
LD,
is it though?
100.
Is it though?
Yes.
Society.
I don't believe it though.
I'll put it to you this way.
I honestly don't believe right now because
we need to be realistic.
Pascal, I totally agree with you guys, but in reality, what we're experiencing in the world today, we still have a long way to go before a woman can rule any country in Africa.
I have a question for you.
We have a long way to go.
But it happened in Liberia.
I have a question for you. This is a real question because I think what's being missed is that the person in front is the person who's leading, right? In my perspective, it's not the light that I'm seeing that's actually important. It's the wiring behind the light, right? It's the wiring that makes that light turn on. I'm not fooled by the light I'm seeing. I know that there's wires that are making that light happen. If you look at everything that's being the actual foundation and the backing of everything, bro, it's inevitably women. It is literally inevitably women going to rule the world, and it's not going to take that long. It's already the case.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Edu, can I ask Val a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
In the history of American politics, tell me how many black men that did more than Condoleezza Rice?
Obama?
I said how many? I didn't say name one person.
I mean, I can't tell you.
You say you can't tell me. Now, let me tell you something.
Michelle Obama, the Obama family. That's the only thing I can think of. I can't name.
I'm glad you mentioned Michelle Obama.
There's another woman from California. There's another lady from California, the woman that pushed for us to stop calling the black Americans and call them African Americans. I don't know if you remember the woman. She's from California. She represented California in the House for a long time.
Are you talking about the lady who's running for vice president? You're not talking about
that one. She's an OG woman, but very, very strong lady. She's the lady responsible that pushed that the black Americans should stop calling them black Americans and call them African Americans.
Okay, but here's the thing though.
Okay.
Like, we're mentioning
LD. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just say one point quickly.
Yeah.
Prior to this show, I asked a question to the crew, regarding activism and leadership and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I understand that you can have women who are passionate about certain things, passionate about achieving equity and equality and gender equity and gender pay gap in society. They are advocates for these issues. But when they get into politics, it's a different ball game.
Okay.
When they if they get into politics, if the patriarchal society that we still live in today will even allow them to get into politics. Mind you, men are pushing back against feminism right now. There's a lot of pushback against the feminist movement happening around the world. I'm just trying to open you guys to see something that's happening.
You know what's going to stop
women are fighting for.
You know what changes that? Economics. Men don't have power over economics as much as they did before. Literally. If you look at academics, women are leading. If you look at everything.
Tell me the 1% of people that controls the world right now.
You're talking about 1%, and that's exactly.
Talk about them.
But hold on. But here's the thing, though. That's exactly why I asked that question when I was talking about Rwanda, right? If 1% controls the economics, but 99% manage it, that 99% being women is a big deal.
Money. Don't forget that money rules. Whoever owns the money controls the economy, controls the world.
No. Whoever owns the money puts it where more money is made. And more money is made with women these days. Literally.
Well, you're right. More money is made with women, but who is in charge of the money?
If I have the skill to keep the money.
Okay, Val, I hear you. You keep saying politics. You keep equating that politics equals money indirectly, right?
Yes.
And saying that the females. Are you trying to say that the females cannot raise the money to play the game?
No. That's what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the structures. You guys don't get me wrong. I'm saying there are structures in place that inhibits and limits women from ascending into power, into powerful positions in society.
Okay,
those structures, you guys need to realize those structures first before you can start talking about women leading in politics in Africa, especially in Nigeria.
But you would be right? And you are right if we're still talking about 1996 technology, 1987. We're talking about a world where information is shared like this. You can no longer hoard information. You still have a little bit of power to devalue the valuable, but that's not going to last long either, right? You run a company where you hire nurses, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to make an assumption. Maybe this is because of historical training. Maybe 95% of your employees are female, right? Women?
Yes, actually all of them.
Okay.
all of them.
All of them are female, right? Now,
I have a male nurse working for me right now.
Okay. If we've been in hiring this world for a long time, the more we go into the future, the more roles women are taking over, and they are taking it over based on merit, not favor. Based on merit. They are overqualified, right? And if I'm starting to, if the ratio was 1 to 10 before in favor of men, 5 years ago it was 4 to 6. Now it's 6 to 4. And as we keep going, because the one thing that, and when we brought up this topic, the first thing that came to mind, the reason why I said it was because I believe, right, as I started with the Lion Kingdom, especially in African culture, I feel like riches makes men lazier than it makes women. Would you agree with that or not?
Okay, Aldi, I agree with it 100%. And then, Sharp.
Yeah.
Do you know about the woman they call Maxine Waters?
Yes.
Maxine Waters, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The woman that represents California, right?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
And she's a current congresswoman there now.
Yes.
She's a chairlady of she's a chairlady of a special committee in the U.S. Congress.
Maxine Waters, right? I had a chance during the Obama campaign. There was a fundraiser in California where I was invited, and I had a chance to meet this woman, right? Aldi, when this woman speak, when she opened her mouth and speak, you see quality. You hear intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You hear substance. But I've met more than 1 million African-American men that their head is coconut.
Bro, don't say that, man.
Don't say that.
Don't say that, bro. Don't say that, Pascal.
But you don't understand.
Don't say that.
Hold on, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are not intelligent. I'm saying that I've met at least 1 million African Americans men that I would choose Maxine Waters to represent me in place of them. So it's a figure of speech.
Fair point. Absolutely.
I'm not saying that
fair point. Understandable.
Am I making sense? It's something
I just wanted you to clarify on House of Commons.
Okay,
now the same thing in Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went into that meeting and I met these 6 girls. But I've done business with more than 100,000 men in Nigeria that I would choose any of those girls any day as their leader if they give me the power to choose. So that is, I'm just using that, right? So you give me a Maxine Waters, you give me a Condoleezza Rice,
mm-hmm.
right? You give me a Michelle Obama. In Nigeria, that's one woman I can 3 women I know I've met. The Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. The woman that was
bro, that woman have her own dirt bags though.
Okay, yeah, but I'm coming now. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Do we remember Mayam Babangida?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Babangida couldn't have made it to where he made it without that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Till tomorrow. Sharp, am I lying?
Yeah, yes, that's a fact.
Now, I don't know if you guys know Ali Baba. Ali Baba, the comedian.
Yes.
Sure.
Do you know Ali Baba's wife?
No.
When Ali Baba,
No.
okay, when Ali Baba's wife come out and speak, you see quality. So if I'm asked now to pick people, you think I'm gonna not pick these people and go pick somebody because you're a man?
Okay.
That's a lie.
And I want.
What I'm saying is this: these women they are strong women. They are the ones that were able to fight the men, climb. We need to give the younger women the same level of chance that we give to the male, and let the best person rule.
Here's a question, right? And maybe Bruce Sharp can answer this, because I constantly hear the give them a chance, right? Give them more of a chance than we give men. Is it that men are given a chance, or is it that men take a chance? Which is it? Because I've already said, I think inevitably, because of how economics is going, and just straight, as we've said, intellectual power is the new thing. Women are inevitably going to be in charge. Point blank, period, right? But it's important to also speak of, we can speak of this later, what the man's role is, and then what is a woman doing in power? What is the difference between what a woman would do in power to what a man did in power and failed at? What is I need to know what it is because I'm assuming I can call a guy who's a great administrator and he would do a great job at administrating, just like a woman would do a great job at administrating and fixing a truck. So of course there's maybe some biological traits that makes them better at certain things. But
yes, there is. They can multitask more than we can.
Fact.
Mom and dad, a typical example.
Fact. Okay, but then, so how would you, okay, so in your assumption, a woman takes over Nigeria, or women take over Nigeria, what's the change? What do we start seeing better?
Ishapi, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I think remember there used to be a popular musician that sang a special song back in the days. I think he's late now. It's a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is James Brown, the late James Brown.
James Brown.
Yeah, he didn't just come out with that song. Mm-hmm. He saw a lot that made him came with that conclusion. Mm-hmm. So we know vividly well that in the world that we're living in today, it's the men dominate the world we're living in today. Mm-hmm. So when someone says give women a chance, we understand that to be, yes, it's like the men are the one in charge and in control of almost everything. But we need to give the women that chance to come in and help out too. Mm-hmm. Now listen here. The problem I think that we've been fighting, I think the modern world has been fighting and having to deal with is the traditions and the culture that we have exhibited and maintained for a very long time. The status quo is
that is not taking us anywhere.
It's been there. It's just something we have refused to address. So that's belief and that doctrine that feels like a woman is supposed to be restricted to certain positions and for us to tell women where they belong, it's wrong. I think what summarizes everything here is I think that we need to give women their respect. Mm-hmm. And when I say respect, I mean, let the woman come to the playing field with everybody, okay? Give them respect because there's a lot that they too can do and produce. Mm-hmm. But because we've always looked down on women or always feel, well, you're a woman, well, you can What can you do? Okay? But we haven't given them a chance. We're not really giving them that chance to go in and test it, try it. Then we see if they can do it or not. There's this argument and debate going on almost everywhere, some countries in the world today, where some of them have already allowed their women to be in their military, where they can become combat soldiers.
Oh, yes.
Just the same as men do. You go to the war front, do everything the men does out there in the war front. And then in some countries, they're still very reluctant because they're still locked in the old tradition that how can a woman go to the war front? Who is she going to leave the kids for? And all that. So I just think the modern world that we're living in today, women have shown enough demonstration that they can do what any other living being can do. We need to get away from that thing that has blinded us for too long time. Get away from it. Look at some of Pascal. Thank you for mentioning countries today that women rules. Mm-hmm. Just look at the very young woman that had her baby in the seat of government in New Zealand.
Yeah.
The current prime minister, I think she's prime minister or president of New Zealand today. Young, fine woman, just get back in the office. But the New Zealanders chose to respect that woman.
Because of the content of our brain.
Yeah, but she was given that chance and respect. Then she was able to show what she can do. But in African context, it's all about which woman you decrease, where you coming from. You know the
Okay.
Yeah. Can I come in?
Okay, okay.
Okay, Vidi, give me 1 second. Sharp, do you guys remember the Sonny Okosun song, Sonny Okosun, Mother and Child?
That's right, yeah.
Sonny Okosun in that song, Mama teach me how to bath because I'm still a young child. Exactly. Why did Sonny Okosun say, Papa teach me how to bath? So what I'm saying is this, if you look at the structure of the family, yes, if you look at the structure of the family, in some families, the men go out to make the money. But if you look at the core values that children grow up with, who inculcates it in them? Who puts it in them?
I don't think, I feel like we're being a little bit careful with.
I'm not being careful.
No. It's not you specifically. I feel like we're being a little bit careful about men's biological characteristics. And maybe
men's biological position.
Yeah, I think we're being a little bit careful because we are saying it as if this has nothing to do with nature somehow. I feel like we're dancing around what we should actually attack head on, because every guy on this screen right now has a certain way of looking at the world that I don't think we would want to give up. And I don't know if that's just social construct.
No, Audi, I know where you're going. Audi, wherever you're going, I'm gonna tell you the gospel truth now.
Wait.
A woman can lead me to heaven. I am backing up and let the woman lead. QED. And I'm giving you an example. See, like my daughter now, whenever I am with my daughter now, I relax and let her do her thing. You know why?
That's your daughter.
I found out she knows more than I do.
That's your daughter. That's different. That's your daughter. That's your daughter. That's different. That's your daughter.
It's not different. Okay, let me tell you why.
Can I
Vidi, go ahead.
Yeah, can I come in here? I think we've brought up a lot of this is gonna probably lead me to my conclusion, by the way.
Okay, not probably. Take it to your conclusion because we've gone on.
Yes. Yeah, we've brought up a lot of different concepts within this topic. It's a broad, very broad topic. We've talked about gender roles. We've talked about economy, biological, and how that relates to economy. We've talked about so many things.
Ego.
There's a question that LD asked: is it that men take chances, or are we giving, or women don't take chances? Or are we giving women the chances? again, it goes back to, I always bring things back to how society is designed.
Mm-hmm.
Men, you're right, men naturally are the breadwinners based on how we were socially constructed. Like, we're the breadwinners in the family. We go hunting. We go from hunting and gathering society to medieval society to current day society. Right. So men, we were taught that we are the alpha in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So women were never taught that way. Women, on the other hand, were taught that they were the better in the family. They were the subordinates. Even in religion, even in the Bible, God created Adam and Eve from the rib of a man.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see where this idea have been coming from. LD, now you have this hegemonic masculinity in you, which is okay. But at the same time, you need to check it, because woman in this current day can lead you, and can lead you really, really well. And can take you to, and can actually assume the male roles that you think you innately have.
100%.
Women can assume that role and do it perfectly well. You understand? So now, in terms of Nigeria, I bring it back to meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who has the merit and who has the capacity and the ability to lead and lead a people, and can devise good policies for the average one, can definitely lead Nigeria. It could be a woman or a man.
Mm-hmm.
For 60 years, we've had men led Nigeria, and we've not had any real true progress. Now it's time. Right, there's no progress. So now, if there's a woman out there in Nigeria that is politically sound, intellectually sound, and morally capable to lead her people, I'm calling out on you. Come out there and use this platform. Like you said, we have a technology right now. Use this platform to publicize what you have, and talk about your policies, talk about your mandates, talk about what you want to do for the people, and let people see. And don't just let us assume and talk about you in here, especially in Nigeria. Come out, use your platform, be involved in a political party, talk about what you're going to do, how you're going to create policies, healthcare, how you're going to address road, how you're going to address light situation in Nigeria, how you're going to address basic amenities in Nigeria, and let us give you, and then let people vote.
Okay.
You understand? Wow. That is what I want to see. Meritocracy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, LD, let's go with you and then take it as your conclusion too.
Yeah. So this is probably, as I mentioned, this is one of the most important, probably in my opinion, the most important discussion that we've had on this platform, in my perspective.
You always say that.
Well, this one is pretty important because, number one, definitely this is probably like a 6, 5, 10 episode discussion, because it's dynamic, it's growing, it's new, not even new, it's happening right now, right? And I think certain questions that I've asked have not been answered yet on this discussion. I think they're more important than we assume they are, because of what I mentioned about the role of men in society, and specifically in Black civilizations. What has been made of the role of men, and does that have something to do with why we try to hoard power so much? But we can discuss that later, right? From my perspective, right, I 100% believe the future is female, period. In my opinion, the future is female, period, because number one, transparency is the future. Intellect is the future. There's no more hiding behind the curtains of Oz. Everyone can see what's going on. I can't be some rich guy. Women are not, the future is female, right? And that's a good thing. I'm not gonna stop pointing out though, the role of men in society, especially in African society, because we can argue and debate whether it's nature or nurture. I can ask questions like, what do women expect from men? What role do women, and we can discuss if it's nurture or nature, but I think that plays a role, right? But I will conclude with, absolutely, women are going to control the future. women are going to lead the future. I don't even think it's a case of should we give women the chance. I believe women are the future, right? And it's completely inevitable, but I absolutely believe we have to have this discussion at least 8.
We're going to bring 2 or 3 women on here.
100%.
We're going to get on this discussion 100%. Again. Sharp, please, let's take your conclusion.
Well, it's been a nice topic. It's just that sometimes I felt like we deviated from the main bone of contention. And if I may go back to conclude on that, I just think the best thing is just for us, especially in Africa, to respect the women, acknowledge their presence, give them that chance. We should throw back a little bit of our cultural beliefs, traditional beliefs that have hindered women from coming to the front line. Now, I heard Val trying to ask women to set up their political ambition and put out their policies and what they want to do, that we're all going to be willing to support and help them out. But again, Val, I love your heart. The only problem is that can possibly work well in a lot more democratic environment. But the part of the world me and you are coming from, Nigeria and Africa, we have hindered women from coming forward to participate very well. Now, fortunately, our people, and part of the reason why our women have not really been able to make it through headway there is because of those things I pointed out, the cultural belief, and our people have not been educated enough to understand that we are in the 21st century where you need to listen to one another and see women as equal partners and equal players. Now, this is what the problem is. When a woman steps forward in traditional Nigerian culture, say African culture, for what she want to do as in coming to want to be the president of the country, you're going to see her fellow women chastise her, try to push, make her feel like she's trying to do an omen here. She's trying to do what is not required of her. Look, you're a wife, you're a mother. You're going to leave all these kids here to go out there for campaign and all that. You and those men will sleeping in the bush and all that. When a woman tries to make it up there, the next thing that they tag her up with back home, who knows how many men she slept with and all that. So this is some of the things that discourages some of the more qualified women from coming forward. But if we can create a very conducive atmosphere back home or in Africa, where the women would just feel as equal partners, equal players, the same way the man comes out to fight for what they want, the women come out there and all of us see them in the same level, give them that respect, give them the audience and hear them out instead of trying to shout them down or intimidate them. We will not go anywhere. So for me, that's just my simple conclusion at this time. Over to you, Pastor.
Okay, Sharp, thank you. My own conclusion is going to go this way. Number one, this is the year 2020, not 1914. Number one. Number two, Nigeria, we got our independence 60 years ago. Out of that 60 years, maybe we've been ordinarily be ruled by human beings for 10. 50 has been ruled by fools because they are men, right? And those 10 years that men that we consider good leadership that we've had is
Pascal, 1 second, please. You sometimes you try to panic Val. Val at times is not very used to your direct talk at times. The thing shakes him. But I like what you're doing.
But Sharp, we have to be very, very truthful. We have to be very, very truthful. And if you want now, I'm gonna. Okay, I can even go deeper now. If you want me to go.
Please, don't go more than you've done.
Oh, okay, no.
Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper.
The reason why I say I can even go deeper is that if you go to Film World Nigeria and pick up any of those 6 girls that I had that meeting with, any one of them can do 1,000 times better than President Buhari as a president of Nigeria.
I'm not surprised.
That is clear.
Oh no, man.
That is clear. So not to deviate from my sense of thought.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nigeria has been ruled for 60 years by these people because they are men, right? And we have not gotten anywhere. Nigeria is even getting worse. The Nigeria when I was in primary school is heaven compared to the Nigeria we have today.
Right.
Sharp, am I lying? You understand? So if
It was ruled by men then, though.
Yeah, men, yeah, up to the foolish men I'm talking about, right? Out thinking with their dicks instead of their head. But now we've crossed that area. We are now in the year 2020, where everything. LD, what's your problem? Let me talk about.
Oh my God.
LD. Now we are now in 2020, where everything has to be on intellectual side, right? On intellectual side. And I give you, for example, it doesn't matter if you're a man of 70 or if you're a man of 20 or it doesn't matter if you're a man of 80 or if you bring these young girls within 16 years and 20 and put this laptop in front of you and they put laptop in front of them and they say, type me a page. By the time you type one paragraph, they have finished typing. In that situation, you want to tell me that when we need someone to type on a laptop, a man should do it because he is a man. No. Pascal Atoma says, let everything be based on, bro, speak that your English, meritocracy.
Yep.
That's your grammar, right? Let everything be based on merit, and I'm going to encourage the women out there, especially in Nigeria, come out, get together, get your stuff together, and challenge for all positions, including the presidency, the governor. If you guys fail today, fail tomorrow, you will not fail the third time. Do you understand?
I have a quick question. Sorry, just a little conclusion. We're talking about women. This question might lead us into another topic. Mm-hmm. Would you allow a transgender rule a country?
Okay, that's another topic.
That's another topic for another day.
That's a different topic. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying here is this: please, guys, or the females, female. If you're a young girl out there in America, if you're a young girl out there in the UK, if you're a young girl in Australia, Africa, you're listening to this, your goal should be to be the president or the governor because you can do better than all these knuckleheads that call themselves men. That's my own conclusion. Period.
LD.
Just being honest, I don't feel like it's complete because
no, we have to bring in some females. We have to bring in.
No. I'm just gonna conclude with this, and this is to Ross Shop. I feel like if we are talking about African power and African governing, I don't know how you speak of African governing without mentioning men, because you mentioned our culture. Our culture is based on what? All right. In order for us to talk about how we're going to rule, is our culture based on this because of how we've pushed down women, or is this just our culture? I feel like it has to be.
Aldi, can I ask you a question? The same
culture. We'll discuss this another time.
Okay, the same culture that they've used to rule us for the last 60 years, and everybody is dying of hunger now, and they're hiding palliatives. Is this the same culture you're talking about?
But you know, I'm not scared to say there's value in men too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared to say it.
Nobody ever said there's no value in men, LD. I never said there's no value in men. Well, all I'm saying is, Bro Sharp said, you know, I brought out a very good idea. Women come out, display your platform, but then our culture is going to hinder those women. If you remember what I said initially, you said it's inevitable that women is going to rule the world. And I said, hey, is it? Structurally, there are things that needs to be broken down before women can rule. Culture, values, societal, like the way it is, just like what Bro Sharp said. That's all.
Another thing you didn't mention, Val, that needs to be broken down. Stupidity. Two, stupidity need to be broken. That is it. This is the House of Commons. We're done for this.
We're coming back. We need some.
And masculinity needs to be broken down too.
You know, before we go, hold on. Wait a second. Before we go, you see, all these three guys are actors. Don't mind them. They are lying.
I beg you, end this thing. This boy, stop recording this thing. How do you stop recording now?
We are peace.